This edition of Italy TV is sponsored by Colavita extra virgin olive oil. And Cheerio chopped tomatoes.
On this episode, Little Italy's neighborhood changes, followed by a Tailored Cuisine with Chef Rosanna, then an inside tour of Jerry's Gourmet, plus a book review from Stefano Albertini, with a look at some events around town, all on iItaly, New York.
My name is Susan Martini. My real name is Assunta, named after my grandmother. And I grew up on Mulberry Street on the block of the church. 1905, my grandmother came. And my grandfather and grandmother, they got married here in 1907. And then they had 12 children. I remember as a kid that I knew everyone, and I had a lot of friends. There was a lot of children my age. We had the priest that looked out for us, Father Principe, from St. Patrick's Church. It was a safer place to live at the time. Yes, the older people looked out for the youngsters. And it was very nice. It was a beautiful place to live. At one time it was bad in the 70s and 80s, and then it started to get better because they were getting new people in and young people. Then they started building new buildings and everything. So it's been a big change. Because of Monsignor Sacano and the Basilica, we get to meet more people in the community, because he does a lot for the community. So it's not bad now. It's different, but it's good. Well, I miss the old times, There was all the stores that we could, now we can't shop in these stores because they're too expensive. So I miss that. The butchers, the pork stores and all that. Yeah, but things change. Hi Joe, how are you?
Very good. Good morning. What can I do for you today?
I thought I'd stop for a cup of coffee before I go to church today.
Okay,
Would you mind
great.
making it for me?
No problem.
Thank you.
My name is Joe Parada. I grew up in Little Italy, Mulberry Street. My family was originally from Naples, Italy, and I grew up here. I'm here 55 years, and things are a little bit different than they were when I first started growing up here. There's no more community feeling here anymore. We hung out on corners. There was really no parks for us to stay. We played ball in the middle of the street, waited for the cars to pass and continue our game. And today that's an impossibility to do. We had a lot of traditions. A Sunday meal was 3 o'clock every Sunday, church before that. Today the tradition is not being held up that much anymore, because now we're third generation Americans. So we don't have the older people guiding us to do what we do. Plus, being an American now and what we do with our children, we don't have the opportunity to do what we were able to do with our families. Well, this was a social club. And back in the 50s and 60s, social clubs were all over, because most people didn't have TV, they didn't have air conditioning in their apartment, so they would come down and they would hang out and rehash about what part of Italy they came from, or what town, who they knew, who they spoke to from their town, how everybody was doing over there, and keep the tradition going down here. So there was no parks, there was no one's house to hang out in, they would hang out in social clubs. Well, all the old people are gone. Rents are too high to be a social club anymore for people just to come down and a couple of dollars could hang out. So now tradition is gone. We're trying to maintain it here. I don't think that there could be a future of the Italian community any longer here. There always will be some sort of a background of Italy here, but it's slowly but surely going. I think that the community of Italy is getting lost. The new immigrants are not Italians anymore. They're from different parts of the world. So I don't see that they're all coming here and saying, oh, this is where Italians all grew up. This is where we could buy the food that we had in Italy. I don't see that happening anymore. Childhood memories. You're always going to remember them. And friends that you have for life.
My name's Emilio Vitolo, and I grew up in, Little Italy, right here. My family's from Italy. I'm actually first generation in my family to be born in America. Growing up in this neighborhood, there was a lot of Italian families around. There's not a lot of that around anymore. It's different, the neighborhood's changing. You're getting a younger crowd moving in. There's no more neighborhood guys around. There used to be like an Elizabeth Street crew, a Mott Street crew, Grand Street crew, all Italian families. They own buildings, they own restaurants, they own everything. And, they got rid of all the property and started moving out to Jersey, Florida, and just getting away from this neighborhood. It's changed so much. When I was a kid, I wouldn't even be allowed to come in this park because it was such a bad neighborhood at the time. It was just not a place to be, so my mother would never let me come here. Little Italy, as the years go by, it gets smaller and smaller and smaller, and it becomes more of like Chinatown. There were a lot of like family-owned businesses that were around. There were a couple of butcher shops on Elizabeth Street. There was a supermarket right on Mott Street, down Mott Street, family-owned business. They all shut down, They were all like small businesses, family-owned, and these big corporations come in and they're just kicking out all the families. A lot of Italians own buildings in this area, and they're all leaving. They sold it. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know if I could call this my home anymore. I don't know if I'm going to want to stay here if, people I grew up with aren't here anymore. I feel like the history of Italians here may not be around anymore. No one's going to be around to talk about it because, like I said, the neighborhood is changing a lot, and all the Italians are moving, because there's no more families around, and they don't. I feel like they don't want to stay in this neighborhood anymore. They want to go elsewhere.
I don't speak very well English. You don't understand Italian? It's perfect.
Traditional Italian lentils with cotechino, but I was told it's pronounced cotechino. I don't know why the H is in there, but it's really simple. Even I could do it. We cooked 2 pots of water, and in one pot we prepared the lentils, while in the other pot we prepared the cotechino. Cotechino tastes very similar to American Spam. I'm gonna mail Rosanna a can. She's never had it. came in a can. So I would open the can into the pot, heat it up, and me and my brother and my father would eat it. I was the chef. Yeah, this is better. While the 20 minutes of those two were preparing, that's when we prepped our vegetables in that saucepan with the olive oil, the garlic, and the tomato sauce. I gotta do that?
Yeah?
I don't know how to do that. I might cut my hand off. I can do this. We moved then, when everything was done, we moved the Italian Spam, the cotechino, with the lentils into the saucepan, and that was all for the flavor, and there you have it. If you really want to know the details of this recipe, you can go to Rosanna's blog on the iitaly.org website.
Sono Jerry Turci, il proprietario di Jerry Gourmet, un supermercato italiano in Englewood, New Jersey. Sono arrivato da un paese vicino a Napoli, Castellammare di Stabia, dove era stanco un pochettino del paese e ho detto, casomai, vado in America. Ho lavorato un paio di settimane e ho visto che si guadagnava un po' bene. Di fronte all'Italia, dove dovevo aspettare un mese, qui si guadagnava a settimane. Quando sono arrivato ho lavorato in costruzione. Poi, 1973, ho preso un negozio alla 17ª strada. Vendevamo profumi e ho fatto quel mestiere per buon 15 anni. Poi è diventato molto piccolo New York e mi sono mosso qui in New Jersey. Dai profumi abbiamo incominciato che un cliente aveva la panetteria e mi ha fatto mettere il pane. E ne abbiamo venduto tanto che ho detto, oh, sarebbe bene a mettere anche roba da mangiare. Abbiamo incominciato. Siamo solamente io e mia figlia. Noi non abbiamo nessuno che compra, nessuno che vende. Io compro, vendo e quando ero più giovane mettevo anche la roba sugli scaffali. E noi usualmente tutta la merce la compriamo direttamente, capisci? Non la compriamo tramite distributori.
I'll do $5.75.
Too much. Individually I can sell it for $7.99.
Let's do it at $5, okay?
Ok, $10 for the lot. Come quello là adesso, la torta voleva $12, io l'ho presa per 10. Non è che metto i $2 in tasca, quello che io conservo lo risparmio al consumatore, quello che viene a comprare. Io lotto per il consumatore. La mia filosofia è di non dare soldi per advertise, giornali, Il mio advertise è con i miei clienti. Che gli diamo alla signora per regalo? Gli diamo un panettone? Aprire merce, biscotti, panettoni, mangiate. A me mi piace comprare e vendere. Mia nonna era una commerciante e vendeva queste dote per i contadini che si sposavano le figlie. Mio padre comprava tutta la merce per le navi. Io ero bambino, lui mi portava al mercato perché comprava frutta, pane per fare provviste per le navi mercantili. Quando ero anche in Italia io vendevo uova per tutto Napoli. La mattina andavo in mercato, compravo e andavo a vendere per tutti i negozi. È stata sempre una passione. E sono venuti la gente che volevano comprare questo posto. Dice, ma chi è che fa il buy? Io. Ma chi è che fa questo? Io. Ma chi è che fa questo? Io. But watch, you gotta bring the stuff to Boiano.
Yeah, I got 11 pieces.
Yeah,
Let me get
all
the
right.
rest. I'll put it
Okay,
there.
give it the truck and go. Merchant li chiamiamo, non esistono più. Ora sono i giovani che prendono la computer e vogliono comprare in computer. Per me la computer è la testa. È come il vecchio commerciante vai a comprare un paio di scarpe. Tu gli dici quale paio di scarpe vuoi, va dentro, sa dov'è. Ora no, vanno sulla computer, oh non ce l'abbiamo, forse vediamo quell'altro negozio. I figli mi dicono, tu sei vecchio, fashion. Ok, no problem. Però se domandi una cosa a mia figlia, oh, aspetta, vado in computer. Il tempo che la va in computer io già l'ho venduto. Forse la tecnologia è buona, però io non ci credo.
Today I want to talk to you about a new book published by Indiana University Press by Susan Zuccotti. The book is about Père Marie Benoit and the Jewish rescue effort during World War II. Susan Zuccotti is a very renowned scholar of the Holocaust. She encountered a very interesting figure that captivated her interest, a French Capuchin priest, Père Marie Benoit. And she encountered him in different parts of the world, namely in Marseille, in the south of France, and in occupied Rome between 1943 and 1945. And Zuccotti started studying and researching these incredible friars, that with the network of Jewish friends was able to establish a network that during the racial persecutions in Europe saved the life of thousands of Jews and persecuted people. The portrait of Père Marie Benoit is a very captivating one. Zuccotti is able not only to reconstruct the historical facts, but also to bring back to life the personality that was jovial, entertaining, and very communicative of this Capuchin priest and of the friends, Jewish friends, that helped him and that with him conceived this rescue effort. And I believe this is the main merit of Susan Zuccotti's book, is to underline the fact that great things can be done in cooperation. Père Marie Benoit did not act alone. Père Marie Benoit acted within a network that included Christians, Jews, Protestants, and Catholics. And in that way, they were able to oppose the greatest evil that ever appeared in Europe.
Today we're celebrating the Italian tourism in New York with many different regions coming from all over Italy.
Italy is an incredible brand, so everything is Italian, is a successful one, and don't forget, this experience today is part of the celebration of the Italian culture in the United States. We have all the Italian hoteliers, we have group of hotels, we have tour operators from Italy, meeting with the American tour operator and travel agents, but we have especially Expo 2015.
Milan. The Expo is in Milan. That means that Milan is not only fashion, it's not only the dome, it's also a center of a meeting of a very big mondial global importance about food, about health.
Let's go and check it out. Lara, you're working in the marketing department for the Expo 2015 in Milan. What's the Expo exactly?
Well, the Expo is the next Universal Exposition. It's going to be a 6-month event, and it's all going to be about food. Our theme is Feeding the Planet, Energy for Life. and we are expecting 20 million visitors from all over the world. We're going to have cultural events, we're going to have entertainment events in Milan, but also in the main Italian cities. We really get ready.
It's a good reason why to come to Italy, visit Italy, enjoy Italy, but also to give a contribution of ideas about what to do for the future of the world.
Today is the third day of a big analysis about Machiavelli. It's very interesting to see how much Machiavelli affected the birth of political science, how many concepts continue to be relevant.
The way that the prince is articulated is in terms of a sort of detached policy advice. And I think that continues to be very relevant. I mean, politics is on the one hand a media spectacle, but once you're voted into power, you also have to deliver on certain promises. And then, reading The Prince is very enlightening.
Machiavelli can offer a number of interesting solutions to have a kind of democratization of European institutions. I'm not sure that we can utilize Machiavelli in order to change the welfare system.
Machiavelli is a political theorist, and in some way Machiavelli is the theoretician of the political leader. So I would say that if Machiavelli was writing now, probably he would have taken an airplane and he would have come here, went to Washington DC and look at the relation between the President of the United States and the Congress.
Machiavelli is a contemporary because he knows about politics. He believes that politics is important. He believes that it's possible to analyze, explain, and in a way orient politics. He believes that politics is something that we ought to use to organize our daily life, to organize the life of those we care about, and more specifically, to create a better world.
New ILICA Symposium this year.
We had 6 symposia trying to determine the identity of the Italians in the 21st century, and we found many identities. If I'm an American citizen and I want to see what's Italian, where is the Italian culture? And that's why we go into debate with a major writer.
Italian culture is ubiquitous by now. But I sort of categorized various kinds of sites that, if you can call them sites, the palaces of memory, for which I include my aunt's kitchen and also the Istituto Italiano di Cultura.
We've always looked to the past. Italian Americans are worshippers of the past. They've turned their ancient immigrant homes into shrines. We are digging a grave for Italian American culture. What we need to do is we need to look into the future. And what I mean by the future is, what is everybody doing in the present that will happen in 10 years from now?
Donna dell'anno ILICA, cosa vuol dire per lei questa onorificenza quest'anno?
Beh, è un grande onore soprattutto perché si celebra nel 2013, che è l'anno della cultura italiana negli Stati Uniti. Credo che sia molto importante aprirsi, che la cultura italiana si apra al mondo, e quindi credo che sia molto importante l'azione che ILICA sta facendo.
The other thing that's important about this meeting and about the number of meetings that ILICA has held in the last 4 or 5 years is that continues a general dialogue with regard to Italy and the United States and Italy and Latin America. And that dialogue is absolutely necessary if we're going to get anywhere. And we also should hope that the current election of Mr. de Blasio will help that dialogue, seeing how he, in fact, does speak Italian.
The show highlights the most distinctive trait of the artist's work, which is the transparency. It describes the ability of Emblema's paintings to interact with the existing light and space. The exhibition features a spectacular group of works by Leonardo from the Biblioteca Reale in Turin. A selection of his drawings presents his work as a scientist and artist.
This edition of Italy TV was brought to you by European Flavors, promoting organically grown fruits and vegetables in the best European tradition. And Baci Perugina chocolates. Say I love you the Italian way.